Hello, welcome to Insight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Ross Sutherland.
You know, when you go to the Salem Art Association website, they have so many things they offer, including the thing everybody knows, which is the annual Salem Art Fair and Festival. But they also do community arts education. Community arts. I said, what's that? So that's why we invited Kathy Dingus-Rice. She is the arts educator for Salem Arts Association. Not only is it a big program, but it's growing. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What is it?
What is community arts education?
Yeah.
Well, our community arts education program kind of has two halves. One of the parts is that we serve schools, so we have a roster of artists that go into the schools. So we have a lot of school programming. We work with kids, basically connecting artists and kids in a variety of ways through artists in residence and family art nights and other activities that we do at the schools, after school programs, that kind of thing. And then the other part of it is basically what we call artist services. So we have an artist in residence program in the annex at the Salem Art Association. We've had over time, workshops, we have classes, we have exhibition space now in the annex so that we can support artists that are making work in the space and showing work in the space and talking about work in the space. So it combines all the different kinds of programming that would support artists to kind of connect with the community and try new things as well.
I love it, trying new things.
Yeah, and it's a really nice complement to the other two programs at the Art Association, which is the Galleries program, which there's a number of art galleries there, and Bush House Museum, which of course I'm the director of, but who knew? Just kidding. But tell us, the great thing about the Community Arts Education Program is they've just expanded the annex, which gives you a lot more ability to reach groups in the community that you haven't really had an opportunity to. So could you talk more about that?
Yeah, it's really exciting because our Community Arts Education Program has served over the years Marion, Polk, and Yamhill counties. And for a lot of the program we've wanted to do that brings the arts, maybe more contemporary work or experimental work or different kinds of ideas. We've always had to look for a space, and where in the community are we going to do this so that the community can participate. So now at the annex, we actually have a space.
We've been open a year now here in the annex. We launched in September 2016. 117 events, exhibitions, activities of various sorts have happened in this space already. Artists love the dynamic of the ceiling, the heights, the feel of the space, and so they're coming up with projects and requests all the time.
The mission of the annex is to make, show, and learn about art. We're able to have exhibitions here in this space. There is a separate studio where we have an artist in residence program. So basically year-round we have our artists working on site in the studio. We have a press that they can use, and it is a studio for all mediums pretty much. So we are able to really focus on individual kind of communities or cultures or aspects of the people that live here to participate.
For this project, I probably started collecting all the bits and creating some sample pieces. It was probably a year and a half ago. And because of other art opportunities, I haven't been able to work on this. So I get to come in here, I get to be in the middle of Bush Park, and I get to come in and really focus on a project, and I get to push it further than what my original idea was, which that's what I'm really excited about.
It's a beautiful space. It's a lovely space. It's in the park. There's double doors, 2 sets of double doors that open to the park, and we've had workshops and classes in there and lots of other events. So it's really a space that artists can try things. They can make work and show work in the same space. We just started, I think we're going to keep doing it, really, we have a landing that's upstairs. So I think we're going to have writers in that space. It's a great space for chairs and a table, and so we're really just filling the space with artists, multimedia, and we really want folks to participate, folks who may be like LGBTQ and younger folks and just different topics and ideas and different groups of people who want to share some new concepts or new ways of thinking or new work.
And that's neat because then they can actually connect with each other.
Yes, yes, and that's something that we've really enjoyed. We have an installation up currently. The opening is this Friday, and that artist was installing the work. And while she was installing, there was an artist in the studio, and there was some folks visiting her, and it just so visiting this artist in the studio studio. And it just so happened that the artist who was installing happened to know one of the visitors. They had worked together years ago. And it was, you know, it was an amazing conversation. It was sort of these 4, 5, 6 people who were meeting and connecting, and some had known each other, and some, it was interesting to have that all happen. So there are a lot of times that different groups of people are overlapping, like we're having kids in there, you know, doing a project at the same time that an artist is making work or someone is working on a show. And so when you have all these different groups of people that maybe won't normally overlap, kind of connect, you know, sort of just meet each other and just interact in the same space together. That's a lot of what I think the Annex is meant for.
Well, you must be doing something right, because that's one of the reasons why it's growing. I love your art in the schools program, and we're going to take a look at video of that with Janet Newberg, who was teaching some kids over at a school. I believe it was Four Corners. Let's take a look at that video.
Great.
Four Corners is a focus school, which means that it has that urgent need to raise up student achievement as measured by reading and math scores. In the middle of this need to focus in on the basics, on the reading, the writing, and math, we didn't lose art as a means of expression and as a way of really tapping into that talent that so many kids have. So I like to look out and see the kids that are engaged in something that if it wasn't for that collaboration, they wouldn't be a part of.
They're hungry for it. And there's some kids that will excel at art that aren't used to excelling at other things. And in fact, I had that experience at Perrydale. There was a teacher that was absolutely astounded at how well a little kindergarten boy did, because he has all kinds of issues. He was way ahead. He just charged in, didn't ask for help, did a beautiful finished product, and the teacher didn't even know he could do that.
Don't you love it?
That's wonderful. So Janet Newberg is really fascinating. Tell us more about the different artists that you have in the Artists in the Schools program.
Yeah, well, our Artists in the Schools program is also multimedia. So we have photographers and felters and all different kinds of artists going into the schools, and we are looking for other folks who want to teach kids, and we do work with a lot of elementary, and we do have a high school program, so it's all ages of kids.
Is it year-round or just
it
tied to the school year?
It is year-round. We are having a summer programming this summer, so we'll be starting to do that regularly. You know, there aren't really art teachers in elementary schools, and so students really don't have the opportunity to explore in those ways, and the idea that you can make mistakes and looking at your mistakes to see what else you can do with that is really a philosophy that the arts supports. So
part of the creative process.
Yeah,
well, and there's also ways to connect up the arts with different topics. So it isn't just art, but it's art and math, art and social science.
Absolutely.
So different kinds of things. So
While we have time, how do we get in touch with you? And if people want to be part of this whole community arts program, how do they get involved?
If you go to www.salemart.org, you can take a look on there and email us with ideas or concepts, and you'll see our programming on there. We have calls for artists out, our artists in residence program. There's, if you want to, if you're interested in being a teaching artist, you can find everything on our website under Community Arts Education.
yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Talking with you. Yeah, we'll have you back.
Thank
That'd
you.
be great
Love
fun.
it.
And thank you for joining us today on Inside. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Ross Sutherland.
We'll see you next time.